It's good morning, Uganda Extra. My name is Jagan Asemakola Zexoka. Welcome to BC again today. It's another very lovely day that the Lord God has given to us, and I think this is day 26 of the lockdown. We're steadily counting down to the 42 days. Now, there's no guarantee that after 42 days, life gets back to where it was before a 42-day lockdown. But 42 days is what the president and the scientists gave to us to see how we can manage the COVID pandemic that we're battling with. We've lost quite a number of people. We're still losing people. Infections are still with us, even when the numbers are coming down. But nonetheless, we all need to just understand that, yes, COVID is real, it is with us, and we just need to do the basics. Wash our hands, sanitize whenever we can, wear masks whenever we can, not whenever we can, but mandatory. We need to wear our masks while in public. You can only avoid putting on a mask if you are alone in the office, alone in your car, maybe at your home. But the moment you step out in public, wherever you are going, to a supermarket, to market, to any public square, you need to emphasize that you put on your mask. And when you wear your mask, you need to wear it rightly. Put on your mask like we've put on our masks in studios. Do as much as you can to social distance, sanitize, wash your hands, and of course do the basics to see how we can fight COVID-19. Now from COVID-19, because it's important that we keep reminding you that it is with us. Back to our conversation. And joining me in studios today is a young man, Terry Kahuma, a young lawyer. You're very welcome, Terry.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jagenda.
I am happy to have you in studio this morning.
I'm happy to. In fact, I'm blessed to be in the studio today. Yes, the good Lord has brought us together.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm happy to have you here, and you're a lawyer, is that so?
Yes, I am.
When did you qualify?
I qualified to be a lawyer when I graduated from Uganda Christian University. That was in 2019. So I have been also doing my postgraduate diploma at LDC.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you done with that?
Because of the issues of results and what, I just have about one paper to go. Okay. Yes. I will finish it and then I'll graduate.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, but that's okay because you went through the 4 years and you'll still manage this. There are lots of issues at the LT, but nonetheless, you have one paper to go.
Yes.
And very soon you'll be there. Okay. Well, I'm happy to have you here. And one of the things that I know that you do is you're trying to embrace innovation on social media.
Yes, I am.
Is that so?
Yes, it's true.
And as a lawyer, why would you even want to get to that? Because we see normally so many young men or young people who get into social media, those that have qualified at university as IT specialists, as IT experts, as what do they call themselves? They call themselves, I forget what they call themselves, but those who have actually studied IT. How would you as
software
a lawyer,
engineers?
Software engineers, they call themselves, I think, software engineers and something. There are quite a number of things that they call themselves. I am not IT savvy myself. But why would you, from law school, even think about innovations in IT?
You know, that's a very interesting question, Mr. Jagenda. In the beginning, even before I joined law school, from when I was still a very young boy, when I was still a baby, I've always loved innovation. I've always loved creativity. And another thing is that the law profession is a very conservative one. It's in that they tell us, don't advertise yourself, don't do this, counsel should be like this, you should be like this. You know, it's either black or white with the law. But as times are changing, especially in my generation, us millennials, times are changing and we need to embrace change. So one time I decided to think to myself, aside from having a degree and from having LDC, which everyone has, what else can I do? What else can I do to make a difference in the world? And I have a younger brother who is also a YouTuber. He also has 2 channels on YouTube. One time we were discussing and he said, you know what? Why don't you begin a channel on YouTube and educate people about law? And I said, oh, wow, this is actually a very good opportunity. I'm someone who likes to embrace change. I don't like to stick to one thing. And another thing is that we are so many people who did law. Let alone in my LDC year, we are 1,600 who joined the bar course. And the 1,600 before, and there are also people coming after. So I like to be that lawyer that makes the difference, that makes the change. Another reason, I don't know whether I'm answering.
Yes, you are.
Yes, another reason is that when I was in law school, there was no one who used to tell us these things, especially in a social media kind of way. You just go for a lecture, the lecturer tells you this, go and read this, it's now up to you. But I always wanted that person who could break down things for me in the over the internet. Whenever I would go on YouTube, I would always find British children, I would always find Indians, Americans explaining legal principles. So I also wanted a Ugandan who could do that for me.
Okay.
But I never got that in law school. So I wanted to also deliver that service to my fellow people, to Ugandans. And here I am. So that's how I created Simply Legal. Okay,
that's very important. We'll come and talk about your Simply Legal YouTube channel there. But of course, in your earlier submission, you talked about the ethics of law or the ethics of lawyers.
Yes.
You know, with law, it's black and white. You don't do this, you don't do that. You have to go this way, you have to do this way. And that's why lawyers are not even allowed to advertise. Can't your YouTube channel be construed for advertisement, that you are advertising yourself, which is against the code and ethics of law or lawyers?
That's a very interesting question. Many people have actually asked me this question. It cannot be construed as advertisement. Reason being is that, number one, it mainly applies to people who have qualified to become an advocate of the High Court. You know, when you finish when you finish your legal studies and get a degree and you get your postgraduate from LBC,
you go for a bar course.
Yes, you finish the bar course and you apply to also be enrolled as an advocate.
Okay.
Now, the moment you become an advocate
with a PC,
you're now subject to the Advocates Act of Uganda. Now, the Advocates Act basically tells you that you shouldn't advertise yourself. And advertising, let me just simplify it. It's basically things like, I'm here, I'm Terry Kahuma, I have this YouTube channel,
and
company advocates, and let's say on some of my videos, I even leave down my phone number. I say that you'll find me on plot this of maybe Kamu Kamu Plaza. Now that one can constitute to advertisement. Someone can actually say, this young man is advertising himself. Then even according to the Advocates Act, if let's say I have Terry Kahuma and company advocates, if I have my chipande there, my signpost, and then it's showing there Terry Kahuma and company advocates in a very big kind of poster, then that can also amount to advertising.
It just has to be that small thing that we normally see everywhere.
It's supposed to be small.
And where you actually are, it's second floor of this building. You don't plant it everywhere.
You don't. And it's small for a reason. It shouldn't be so big because the legal profession is so conservative. And it's conservative for a good reason. But I would like to say that the legal sector is evolving because if we can embrace change and things like YouTube channels, you know, things which are giving away free advice, then I think it's a really good innovation.
Okay.
Yes.
I also think it's a really good innovation, but you'll notice that YouTube is one of the most misused social media channels in this country. And how would you advise government to regulate it without really gagging freedom of expression, speech, and all these?
Oh, okay. That's a very interesting question. The thing is that when you look at some of the rights we have in the Constitution, freedom of speech, these are non-derogable rights. This is a right that me and you, Mr. Jagenda, we have. You, as a person, you're free to express yourself. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech. These are things that you were born with. In the Constitution, we have what are called derogable rights and non-derogable rights. These derogable rights are rights you have by virtue of you being born as a citizen of this world. So now, back to your question, I'm going to put a nexus between the two. When you say government, how can government regulate these? It can be in such a way that they can release guidelines, maybe for example from UCC, which are favorable for everyone, for both government and the people. Because these things are very possible. If government can have a good team of lawyers and advise them, for example, under the Attorney General, government can now ask the Attorney General that how can we balance the two, freedom of speech and regulating some of these channels. But then again, it would be very difficult, if I may give my own opinion, it's very difficult for government to regulate YouTube channels. The reason is that YouTube is a platform that has been constructed by America. This is an American channel. So it's for government to regulate channels on YouTube, it's kind of not in its jurisdiction. Yes, but the most government can do that, I would advise, is to sensitize people that, you know what, all of you have freedom of speech. You should be expressing yourselves properly on this YouTube platform. but we should not do it in such a way that we put Uganda in such a bad image or light. Yes.
But you realize that it's one of those misused channels simply because it's American and simply because it's in the jurisdiction of Uganda. That's why. And why I'm actually saying that it's very deliberate that somebody can start a YouTube channel. Now, you're lucky that you've started yours, which is called Simply Law or Simply Legal. That you have aspirations out there that you really think and feel. You need to educate the people about legal issues, things about the law, simplify them. And you know, but you realize that it's one of the channels where somebody starts a YouTube channel and everything that society does not need is actually put there because people are simply looking for subscription, people are simply looking for viewership, and I think because it also gives some money, I'm told it also gives some money when you have a particular number of subscription or viewership or something like that. And to me, that's where it really is. If somebody is looking at it as another source of income and they do not really care about what they do or what they put there, you are legal yourself, you are a lawyer. Would you want to see that society with that unfettered access to YouTube and posting each and everything that they want in the name of getting viewership, getting subscription, and earning some money at the end of the day?
No, I wouldn't, because I'm going to address your question in a centerfold in three ways. Number one, many people are beginning YouTube channels, especially in Uganda. It's not so big, but people are beginning them. So, you know, dealing with human beings is it's a difficult thing because everyone has their own ideologies. Everyone wants to do their own thing. So, on YouTube, when you reach 1,000 subscribers and when you reach 4,000 hours of watch time, meaning people must have watched your videos all to a tune of 4,000 hours, then that's when you can now start running ads on your channel. You start getting partnership programs. Let's say Jumia can want to partner with you, that, you know what, Terry, I'll be running your ads on this video. So what I can tell you is that the best thing any government can do in any country is to just continuously sensitize people that, you know what, you have this YouTube channel, we've given you freedom of speech, but use it wisely. Use it in a way that you're going to develop people's lives. You're going to add something to their lives. It's not just about posting Wolokoso. It's not about posting Lugambo. It's not about posting Rumamonga. And unfortunately, many YouTube channels, I look at them in Uganda, they want to post Uganda in a bad light, and I'm not in agreement with it, because you're expressing your right of speech and expression, but again you're abusing that right in yourself because you're painting your country in a bad image. So the best thing is for people for government and even in ourselves, we should sensitize each other and do things for the better benefit of this country.
How much appreciation do our communities have to the law as a lawyer now, because you live in the same communities where we live? And before even just get into the issues or what you're going to post on your YouTube channel, but how much do Ugandans appreciate the law itself? Do we live in communities that appreciate the law? Do we even have concern for the law? Do we put in effort to know what the law talks about or what concerns us in as far as the law is concerned?
You're asking in my view. In my view, actually, I like your questions. That's another interesting one. When I began my channel, one of the first videos I did was Omuntu Wawansi and the law. That was one of my beginning videos. So by that time I was renting around Makerere, because at that time I was still doing my LDC. So I decided to move around the entire community, Chikonyi, Kavule, around there, around Pastor Bujengo's church. So I moved around, and amazingly, people do not know about the law. I would speak to them in our local language, Luganda. Yeah, I would speak to them and say, Manyi this, you know this, you know this, Mwanya Mateka. They don't know. They don't know about these things. So I would say Ugandans still have a very small grasp of the law, especially the average and low-end class. People who mainly feed hand to mouth. First of all, they are not educated, and they have still failed to embrace education and academics, because to understand law, you first have now to read and write. Then, to also understand, you have to have the will. You have to have that drive and say, you know what, I want to learn the law. What is a constitution? What is a penal code act? So that is why I began Simply Legal, because I like to simplify it even in a local language. I like to simplify it even in form of a skit form, in form of short dramas, in form of this in any way possible. However, on the other end, the elite people who went to school, and that's about like 32% of the Ugandan population, those ones have really appreciated the law. So they are the majority of people who go to my channel and then say, oh, Terry, I didn't know about this. Thank you for teaching me this. Thank you for teaching. I didn't know how to buy land. I didn't know how to do this. But unfortunately, many people, like majority, over 78% of Ugandans do not still have a firm grasp, and they don't want to appreciate the law.
Okay.
Yes.
And now let's come to your channel, which is called Simply Legal, and that's your channel, which you of course started. What do you focus to, and who are your specific target audience? Who are you specifically targeting? Are you targeting who know the law, or you're targeting those that you said cannot even read and write? Because when it comes to YouTube, anybody can get there, and that's why you have every sensation on YouTube, because the idea is, for as long as somebody, you don't have to go to school to actually own a smartphone in this country. For as long as you have a smartphone, you have a line in here, and you can afford buying bundles, then you can actually subscribe to any YouTube channel, get there, watch anything, whether you understand what it is or you do not understand what it is. So who are these people that you're targeting? Because Jagenda, who's going to school, I know some bit of law. I can actually say, no, this, if I am going to buy land, maybe I know what to do. If I am contracting with anybody over anything, I know what to do. But there are people who will come in the morning and find their way. They're renting a house somewhere. They've been given a contract to sign. They just put their thumbprint. They've not read through the terms. They don't even care. They don't know what terms actually of that particular rent are. And so who are these that you're targeting that will understand the law in simplicity?
Okay, that's a very good question. I would say I'm targeting three kinds of people.
Okay.
Number one, it's the average class.
Okay.
People who have gone to school, people who know English, and people who can understand the law, at least to a certain magnitude. Because I'm targeting these people because they may, for example, lie in the employment world, in courses like IT, in courses like software, but they're not aware of maybe cyber laws. They're not aware of the constitution. They're not aware of their rights. So the number one target I have is the average class. People who may want to buy land. He's just out of campus. He's a young man. He has a wife. He may have, like, let's say 35 million. He wants to buy land. He doesn't know where to start from. The only thing you think about is, I think I need to contract a lawyer. So if he can go to Simply Legal and he can look at one of my videos and say, I've looked at Terry's channel. He's looking at a video on how to buy land and how to protect it. Then he can look at it and then go through the steps. He will of course need a lawyer, but at least he's already aware. I'm empowering the average people, and by average people I mean both elderly, middle class citizens, and also young people, because in Uganda we have different kind of classes, and that's a reality. Then number two, I'm also targeting the Omuntu wa wansi, and that's basically people who are the informal people. Unfortunately, I've not done so many videos in Luganda, because Luganda is the most widely spoken language. So I want to be doing that more in the future. But even with the informal people, they understand English and they can speak it, but writing is an issue. So I also do videos to target them. So that's the second class. And then again, still in the informal class, I also target the youth, the upper class, and also middle class. Then finally, I also target lawyers and elite people, people who have gone to school, people who can take a step and read newspapers. They can, for example, know about these issues of LDC. They can know about issues that are happening in the country or even internationally. Yes, so I also target those kinds of people. Then the fourth class, I also target international people, because I also do videos which can, for example, say how do you buy land as a foreigner. And amazingly, I've done a video on that, and I've been contacted before by about 2 or 3 people. Yes, foreigners, because they don't know about Uganda. They want to maybe do business in Uganda. They don't know how to purchase land. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to begin a company in Uganda. So, yes, that is my target. It's quite a huge audience, but I do it in a way so that I can cast my net wide and everyone can understand.
Where are you putting your greatest emphasis? Are you basically looking more over the civil issues or the criminal issues? Because the community in which we live has quite a number of these issues, and you find that majority actually it could be civil cases or civil issues between Jagged and Kahuma, between Jagged and so on. So and people need to really understand these things. There are certain things that we get into, and they're civil matters. Then we also, of course, come to issues that are just with us. Domesticated. Now look at things of domestic violence. Somebody does not know
divorce issues,
family affairs. Somebody has lost a person, or inheritance, succession, wills, and stuff like that. There are quite a number of things happening. Are you looking at all those in that area, or I don't know?
Yes, actually.
I don't run your channel, so it's you to tell me.
Actually, it's a very good question. Thank you for reminding me. On my channel, I don't just handle civil cases. In my previous answers, I've been giving many land and what, but I handle
more civil.
Which are more civil. But I handle a holistic approach to the law. When I was doing my season 1 of the channel, so I've done issues of family. In terms of adoption, I've talked about wills, I've talked about children, and at the same time I've done criminal issues, I've done human rights, I've done intellectual property rights. Again, that's back to civil. So I wanted to tackle a wide array of issues so that when someone goes to Simply Legal, they can have a variety of videos to choose from. They can have, say, oh, by the time he talked about criminal law, he talked about negligence. I've also done videos on the medical sector, because it's what they call medical negligence, and this is something that most lawyers run away from, yet it's something very critical. Because I get examples of, maybe let's say someone has an uncle, the uncle goes to an eye care hospital, they do surgery on them, and when it comes out of surgery, something goes bad, so his eye is totally messed up.
Exactly.
So I normally engage with them on social media. I tell them that, oh guys, how did you like the previous video? If there's something you want me to talk about, please inbox me. I can do that on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. So they normally give me feedback and say, Terry, talk about this, I have this issue. My relative went through this. Or it can be in wills. I've also interacted with people, especially when I did this video of Umuntu Awansi. People had many issues, especially family, criminal, and land. Those are the prevalent issues in Uganda. So I've done a wide array of videos. I have about 64 videos on the channel. So I try and tackle many problems that Ugandans are going through. That's why the biggest audience I have, or the major thing I want to address is these videos can work for anyone who is anyone, or for everyone and anyone. Basically, these videos help in your day-to-day life. Okay. Yes.
Well, young lawyer here, Mr. Terry Kahuma, joining me on Good Morning Uganda Extra today, talking about innovation, of course, youth and innovation. And as a young lawyer, he decided to go, social media, he decided to go to this innovation of YouTube, and making sure that he extends the knowledge that he got from law school to the people out there of all categories, like you said, Omuntu Awansi, no Muntu Awagulu. All of them in there, because we talk about the law, and of course the law affects all of us, and no one among us ourselves can actually say I am above the law or I am beyond that. The law does not concern me because I am at this particular level. He's the one we are conversing with, and of course getting to know more about what he does and what the other young men out there they can actually do with their professions, away from waiting for government to minimum, because you went to school and studied, and so you are waiting to see. We'll take a break, and when we return, we continue with the conversation with Mr. Terry Kahuma here, and his YouTube channel called Simply Legal. We'll return shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Ekya COVID-19 kijja kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, Observe social distancing. Wear masks properly. Sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Well, thank you so much. We continue the conversation with Terry Kahuma here, a young lawyer who owns a channel called Simply Legal on Good Morning Uganda Extra. It's youth and innovation and seeing what they can do. Well, Terry, we're back and thank you so much for again having allowed to join us. And of course, it is where we are. Now, let me look at some of the problems. Of course, we've talked about a few problems or some of the problems that your channel is actually addressing. In there, but specifically, how would you advise as a young lawyer, of course, how would you advise that the fellow youth to embrace the usage of social media responsibly? In that you from law school, you said, I will not just find a law firm to go to and maybe become a clerk in there, run about here and there until I actually grow into profession and also own my firm someday. How would you advise young professionals, those in journalism, those in engineering, those in aviation, those in any field, to also embrace innovation and technology to serve their communities?
Okay, that's a very good question, because actually before the break you left with that, and it's something I should have addressed the first time. What I would tell the youth is that just start with what you have. Creativity is something that people have been scared of for a very long time. Everyone says I'm not so creative. They ask me, Terry, how did you begin your channel? And I say it's just about being daring. In this world we have what's called you live and you learn. And many people are waiting to get very high-end cameras, a studio, very expensive phones, the latest iPhone 12, latest iPhone 11 to begin a YouTube channel. I know people who have begun with techno phones. Someone can just begin with a phone like this. Personally, this is the phone I began with.
Okay.
And I did not wait to start to get big cameras from Amazon, big cameras from eBay, from Jumia. No, just start with what you have. If you have a vision and you say, you know what, I'm in engineering school. Let's say I'm a mechanical engineer,
exactly.
and I want to teach people how to repair cars, how to change a tire.
How to manage their cars, exactly.
Yeah, something like that. Then you can just get your phone, put it in selfie mode, and then just start filming and say, you know what, I'm going to be filming this. Today I'm going to take you through this, how to change a tire. Many Ugandans who own cars don't even know how to change a tire. They don't know the engine part of their car, and this is useful information. So unfortunately, the education system we have is a bit rigid. It teaches people how to look for jobs. You have to do this. You have to get 4 in 4, 8 in 8. Go to the best schools, but they don't. But something that's often left is innovation. And these platforms are here for us. For someone to begin a YouTube channel, it is free of charge. I never spent any amount of money. The only thing you have to do is to continue posting videos. And it's not even about a YouTube channel. You can begin an app with your friends. You can tell your friends, you know what, you guys, we're doing engineering. Why don't we begin an application on phones where you can make life easier for people? Where you can, or maybe people in the banking sector, people have done finance. I had many friends at campus who were doing quantitative economics, finance, and they've begun banking apps. They're making life easier for people, but they're waiting to be employed in jobs. And now with the current lockdown, they're waiting for people to employ them. They're submitting in their CVs. Like, I would honestly say these days, getting a first class, yes, it's prestigious, but it's not as prestigious as in our parents' days. Yes, those days when you have a first class, even World Bank can take you, or even the best law firm can take you in the world. But nowadays they're looking for, what can you do to the firm? How can you help the bank? How can you help the engineering sector? What new innovation have you come up with? A few years ago, there were these engineering students who came up with this car called a Kia. That's one of the biggest inventions Uganda's ever come up with, and they didn't wait first to be employed. And this was made by students in Makerere University. Just brought up cars, sprayed, and they engineered a car themselves. That is a kind of innovation that other countries inspire in young children. So to encourage the youth, just start with what you have. Do not wait to get something that is so high-end. Don't wait to get the latest camera, the latest iPhone. Start with the techno you have. Start with the Samsung. Or even if you don't have a smartphone but you want to do YouTube, you can be borrowing someone's phone. I draw a lot of innovation from YouTubers abroad. There are also people who are doing legal channels abroad. But if you hear their background stories, they used to borrow phones. They would take 5-minute videos. They can make a video on how to begin a lawsuit, and they get millions of views on very poor quality, poor editing, you know.
Poor everything.
Poor everything. And another thing on YouTube, it's not about the audio. The audio is actually very important, but it's not so much about the video quality. It's not so much about, you know, these superficial things, not about your haircut. It's about the information you're giving. The content. The value of your content is what matters. Yes.
Okay. You see, what fascinates me or what intrigues me so much is that you are a lawyer. I know what it takes to actually go through law school, to study law and qualify, and even just qualifying from law school before even talk about going to LDC. I know the rigors. I know what it takes, and most people would think that you can only get into such innovation if you started IT. And I actually remember what I wanted to say initially when we were beginning. Many of them qualify as they call themselves apps developers, and somebody thinks because I have been in university, I have studied this particular course, I do not know anything about IT, as IT. So they don't find it easy to actually start a YouTube channel, any social media innovation of sorts. And that's why I want you to advise them, even those in law, in the law profession, that you did not study IT at the university, but as a lawyer, you have decided to look into this innovation using IT with your law. How would you advise them? Those who say, but I have nothing to do with IT. I never studied IT at the university.
I did law only.
I did law only. I did social sciences. I did education. I did engineering. I have nothing to do with IT. How about those?
The biggest thing I'd advise them is that in this life, what we learn in school oftentimes is not what we apply in life. Because many people have qualified to be lawyers, but they have gone on to become politicians. The likes of Barack Obama. You know, actually, majority of the politicians are lawyers. But it's because they used their knowledge of the law to transition into another thing. And they made their minds fluid. You know, the thing with us human beings is that when we grow up into adults, our minds sort of plasticize. They become so hard. But if you allow your mind to just look at other alternatives, look at different perspectives. So now back to your question, how did I transition from law to editing into IT? All of these things still are on YouTube. All these things are on the internet. We, as millennials, we are such a blessed generation that we have the whole world on this phone. Everything is on this phone. There are applications for people who are beginning YouTube channels. There are applications for people who want to edit. They even tell you how to film. They tell you how to hold a camera like this. All these things are at our fingertips. The only thing that's beating our generation is laziness. And aside from laziness, the only thing that's beating us is we do not want to look beyond what we have studied. Someone knows that I've qualified as a lawyer, I must go to LDC and I must go and do this. I have to be in a law firm. But I'm not bad-mouthing most law firms out there, but they're not going to pay you as much money as you would have wanted. Exactly. Because the time, the effort you put into law school is a lot. The tireless nights, the sleepless nights, the exams, the worry, the anxiety, the stress. But if you can come up with your own innovation and say that this is my thing and I'm going to be advising people about the law, then that even increases your chances of being employed elsewhere without you having to go through a lot of frustration and strife and stress. Okay. So for anyone in any profession, engineering, the transition into IT is that it's a very easy thing if you make it easy in your mind. You know, there's a common saying that the person who says I can and the person who says I can't are both right. So along my journey, many people have asked me that, Terry, how do you do your YouTube channels? How do you plan for it? Isn't it a lot of stress? I don't have time. And I see people who have a lot of potential to do YouTube channels, but they don't have that drive. They don't believe in themselves, or they keep making excuses. I don't have the time, I don't have this, I'm not creative. And I tell them, I eat the same food as you. We breathe the same air, but it's just it's what you tell your mind. The mind is the strongest thing. If you tell your mind that, yes, I've finished my LDC, I have my back course, I've finished engineering, I'm now a fully fledged engineer, what else can I do? Because everyone is now educated. Okay. But what unique, what cutting edge do you have? Okay. When it comes to the Ugandan situation, I want to know from you how you benefit from this YouTube channel, because you're giving all this knowledge to the community gratis. Somebody gets your YouTube channel and they learn how to go through a process of buying land. Somebody goes to your channel and they learn how to maybe write a will. Somebody goes to your YouTube channel and they possibly learn how to do adoptions. Somebody goes to your YouTube channel and they learn anything, could be criminal, it could be civil, tort and all the things. And they learn basics of how to contract, how not to do many things, and they will benefit, they will learn, they will understand. Then Jagana will go and use this knowledge out there. Now, to the other YouTubers in Uganda is you have to make a YouTube channel that is very aggressive in maybe blackmailing, abusing X, Y, or Z, and doing all these sort of funny things. That Kahuma will come to you and say, Jagan, I have a problem with Terry, so please take him on. You pay me some money to abuse and all the things. Now, those are benefiting from that because they give me money to abuse, either to abuse government, to abuse the opposition, or do anything. But I'm looking at a lawyer like yourself who comes and say specifically that you're going to teach us about this particular transaction. You're going to teach us about this particular basic law. How do you benefit from it? Because at the end of the day, I shall have learned from you. But how you benefit? Everybody would want to go to law school, and when they come from law school, get employed in a law firm somewhere, get to court, get to serve somewhere. Then at the end of the day, they earn something. How do you benefit from a YouTube channel that is disseminating and giving information to us gratis? Okay, that's a very good question. I would say I benefit in 3 ways or 4 ways. I'm going to break them down for you. Number 1, I like to give back to the community. We have so little time in this world. Even someone who has lived 100 years. You look back at your life and say, yes, I was a big professional. I amassed a lot of wealth. I have children. I have this. But what legacy have I left? How did I benefit to my community? How will people remember me for? What will they remember me for? So, since this is a very conservative profession, I would say in teaching people the law or giving them basic advice, I have empowered people. Our country lives in such a funny position that there are the people who have a lot of access to information and the will. Then there are other people who may have access to it, but they don't have the will, and they don't know their rights. So I've empowered them with the law. At least I've left them with that. I know that in my lifetime, I empowered certain people. Even if they may not say thank you or what, at least I know that somewhere out there, in the few views I've gotten, or in the many views I've gotten, or at least someone has viewed it, someone has picked something from that. I've left behind something that is not tangible, something that's not monetary. Because unfortunately, Uganda, all of us look at money, money, money. Where am I getting from? How do I benefit from this channel? But how have you touched someone's life? Will they go sleeping at night knowing that, Terry has helped my problem? At least he has not been my lawyer, but he has given me an insight on what I should do. Yes, so that's the number one. Number two is that this in itself creates a rapport with people. It gives them that self-esteem that, oh, I actually know what to do when I have a challenge. I know what to do when I have a problem. I know that there's someone out there who is trying to encourage us and teach us. I know that at least I live in a country where there's someone who can take the time to explain the law. Even if he's not being paid by someone, he is breaking it down for us. He is knowing that people out there have problems, they have challenges. So at least if you can give them that shining light, because all of us in this world have problems, but if you can help someone's problem, it's kind of related to my first one, but if you can help someone, why not? On a free platform like YouTube. Then when it also comes to YouTube, now let me go to the monetary part. On YouTube, you earn in very big ways the more your channel grows bigger. In the beginning, you will not earn. That is the honest truth. And unfortunately, people don't have the patience for it. They don't have the patience, they don't have the time to keep investing in something and it's not going through. Especially our generation. They are not patient enough. It's not like your generation and the ones above. People had the time to invest in something and see it grow, like raising a child. But the way you benefit is that, like I said earlier, when you reach 1,000 subscribers and you reach 4,000 hours of watch time, then the more your channel keeps growing, and they also pay you to the number of views. For example, if let's say you get 1 million views from Uganda, still YouTube will pay you in accordance with those views. And the views are also in categories of countries.
1 million views for that particular video?
Yes, for that particular video. There were many companies will, what YouTube will do is that it will run advertisements. If let's say you Jagenda, you go to Terry's channel and you click his video on adoption. Let's say you found it at, let's say, 2 million views. You click it. The first thing you see is an ad of Jumia, or you see
an ad of Airtel, MTN, or anything.
Anything, even countries abroad.
It could be countries abroad, yes, exactly.
So what YouTube does is that once they have noticed that you have 1,000 subscribers and above, and you have the watch hours, you have what's called a partnership program with them. They tell you that, oh, we have noticed that you have a big following. We would like you to also earn. We would like to give back to you because you've built an audience for us. So we would like you to earn. How do you earn? They'll get for you companies that will be running ads on your channel, and they pay you for like 30 seconds, because on YouTube 30 seconds amounts to a view. Because another thing is that if someone clicks on your video and then they click off before 30 seconds are done, then that also hurts your channel. Because it tells YouTube that your video is not popular. And yet YouTube likes videos which are popular. It likes you to keep the viewer on your channel as much as possible. You saw there's a partnership program. Many companies will want to run ads on your channel. Another thing is that when you're doing videos, let's say now I'm doing a video with you, and now I'm at 1 million subscribers. Every time I begin the video, I say, oh, by the way, viewers, this video is sponsored by, let's say, Nomi Bar Soap. Now, just by me mentioning Nomi Bar Soap, I'm going to earn from Nomi. They're going to pay me because I've mentioned their company in my videos. Or you can say, Nomi is a proud sponsor of this. Microsoft USA is a proud sponsor of this channel. You know, that kind of thing. So there are many, many ways you can earn from YouTube, to mention but a few. So that's one of the ways someone can benefit from YouTube. Personally, I recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Yes, so I'm earning little, but I know that with time, it's promising. And with time, the viewers are going to continue growing more and more and more, and that's how you keep earning. But a very important thing to note is that if you're going to YouTube for the money, you're not going to last in it.
Okay. Do you look at social media and in the innovation in social media as one of those ways that can help us address the problem of youth unemployment in this country?
I'm sorry?
Do you look at social media channels or social media innovations as one of the avenues that government can use to solve the equation of youth unemployment in this country?
Yes, I totally believe so. Reason being is that if government can, let's say, invite the youth in form of sensitization. If first of all, if they can employ innovative youth, if they look at someone and say, seems this young man is very innovative, let's invite him, and he gives us his ideas on how we can solve issues of unemployment, then that person can give them a sneak peek on how the young person thinks, on how someone thinks, on how young people want their ideas to be solved. Now, the most important thing is that after knowing how someone can be helped, then you're also going to provide money. Because the issue with us, the youth, we have the ideas, we have the innovation. The only problem is that we don't have the finances to finance these things. And it's another problem that most people, young people face. They say, I want to begin a channel, I have this idea, I want to begin an application, I want to make a car, but I don't have the finances to do it. So one thing that government can do is to invest in young people, because young people are the future of a nation. Most of the old generation will go away, but how have you left the future leaders? So it's just to continue giving them, giving them money and finances for startups. I usually look at other jurisdictions which are much better than us: Germany, Italy, France, the US, England. Young people normally go to the governments and they write formally and request them for money. It's like this loan program we have of Bonaba Gagawale. So you basically, they give you a lot of money, you start up your thing, and you give them a nice proposal plan, you tell them, I'm going to do this, this is how it's going to benefit the community, and then when your thing has gone through, you pay the government back. But that is how you can solve a problem of unemployment. Many people want to work in companies, but there's even not enough space. Even now that there's COVID, people should be coming up with other things.
Well, very finally, I will need to get your final comments of your final take on our discussion this morning, but also tell me why you see the future of innovation. What you see in the long run, what you see in the future, in the long run, in as far as innovation is concerned, taking yourself as an example of your Simply Legal channel.
I see the future is bright. I see that the more a young person in their 30s, 20s and teens comes up with something which benefits the community, or which another person can look up to for inspiration, then someone can say, wow, I think I can also begin a channel. I think I can also do this. I'm seeing Terry, if let's say I had a classmate of mine who I was with in high school, and he sees that now Terry has become a YouTuber, I can also do something like this. I was his friend. I think I can look at him, I can get inspired by him. And the future is bright because people have ideas, and now that I've told them that you don't need so much to start, people are now going to become more and more in tune with their creativity, with their innovation. The future is much bright, and I would like to encourage many young people that do not despair, do not be afraid of beginning something new. Even when you don't have the capital, work with what you have. Get a small loan, start. Or those who are in privileged positions, speak to your parents, tell them I'm beginning this. And the future will be bright for you. You will thank your younger self when you're much older and you know that this thing worked out for me.
Okay. Final message on COVID-19.
On COVID-19.
Just in 1 minute.
Okay. People, please stay safe, wear your masks, use sanitizers, and we have all lost a lot of people along the way. We have all lost our relatives and loved ones. We are grieving as a global community, but I just want us to take heart. Let's just take precautionary measures. Let's all get vaccinated, and let's all stay safe. And thank you so much for listening to me.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, young lawyer Terry Kahuma of Simply Legal YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being allowed to join us on Good Morning Uganda today. And of course, it's a challenge to the rest of you out there. Terry has just come from the school, and he has decided to use his knowledge to get to the community. You too do the same. You've gone through engineering, you've gone through chemical, whatever
petroleum engineering,
petroleum engineering, and stuff like that. Take the people what they can benefit. Let the community, let Uganda, let the world benefit from what you've actually amassed intellectually.
You know the channel it's Simply Legal by Terry Kahuma.
Oh, that's your channel.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your channel,
even
and
if
it's very important. So somebody just goes to YouTube now and they look for Simply Legal.
by Terry
By
Kahuma.
Terry Kahuma.
If you put Simply Legal to bring it, but if you put the full names to bring it fully.
Okay, Simply Legal by Terry Kahuma.
Yes.
Okay, somebody, I go subscribe, follow Terry Kahuma on his YouTube channel in there, Simply Legal by Terry Kahuma. I learn some bit of the law in very simple terms. We can tell you that the law is in everything, the law is everywhere. My name is Jagenda Semakola Ziksoka. Thank you so much, and of course, thanking my producer and all the team that we've done with Good Morning Uganda and Good Morning Uganda Extra. To just remind you that tonight at 10 o'clock, Charles Dongtho will also be coming on with Behind the Headlines and return tomorrow. For God and my country, stay blessed and stay safe. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by Authentically Symbolic and Insightful.
We should work so hard to evacuate this power.
Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Odong Top.
Was brought to you by
We've